Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Grow with G. I am so excited and I'm so much more energized and recharged than I was feeling last week or last episode. If you haven't listened to last episode, I definitely recommend that you do, just because I think I'll be building on a lot of the things I mentioned last episode. But as a quick recap, it was a bit of a different pace. I was honestly feeling really drained and sad at all the suffering that was going on in the world around that time, especially, but which is obviously still going on. And also just feeling really overwhelmed by my healing journey. Like, I've come so far, but I just also felt like I have so much further to go. And I was just realizing how much work I still have ahead of me. And I think instead of feeling inspired, I just felt overwhelmed. And I've had some time to think on that, and I've talked to other people about it and done some more research and looked through some of my podcast notes that I write when I'm listening to other people's podcasts. And I saw one thing from my friend Bella's podcast, which was choose your hard. And I think that is so applicable to this situation, because either way, it's like healing is hard, or living the life you've been living is also hard. Like, it's hard if you're still carrying these coping mechanisms that we learnt, which no longer serve us. If we're bringing that into our adult lives, where, the things that we previously learnt in one context might not be helpful in another. So I felt empowered by this, because I thought, well, if it's going to be hard either way, I'm going to choose the option that gives me autonomy to make my own choices and to still improve my life. And it's interesting, because with the coping mechanisms, I really do think that they once served us, and like, they once kept us safe, they once kept us loved. We got what we needed. Except now I'm starting to learn that, I don't get the same results now when I use those coping mechanisms than when I used to. And that's because when you move through different stages of life, you do need to adapt. And things that work in one context may not work in another. So I've been trying really hard to overcome my automatic reactions, to choose a response that helps me in the long term instead of something that satisfies my instincts or original programming. So I think it's really hard, though, to unlearn those things. Like, it's way easier to just be on autopilot. But I am seeing the results, and, that is inspiring me to keep going. And I hope that if you're on a similar journey, you're starting to see even the smallest of improvements, even when you think, wow, like, I handled this situation like in a completely different way, or even just in a minorly different way. It's just those small little reminders to keep going, and that the work is worthwhile. And just start to be kind to yourself, because it is hard either way. So you may as well be nice to yourself about it and show yourself some self-compassion. And talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend, and watch how much nicer you are to yourself. And then the freedom that comes from not being so weighed down by your own criticism, and then realizing that, hey, like I do have a choice here. I think part of the healing work is realizing that there is a choice to be different, and realizing you don't have to live your life the way society wants you to or programmed you to. And I feel like not a lot of us know that. We're all doing things that we think we have to do. We're all doing things we think we should do, when we know in the moment that what we're doing is a self-betrayal. Because there's a part of you inside that goes, I really don't want to do this. I really can't do this. But you feel like you have to. There's this other part of you that is like, oh, well, you know, if I want them to like me, I should do this, or I should help, or I should. The list goes on. We have been taught self-abandonment. We've been taught to put the needs of everyone else above our own. And then when nobody's getting their needs met, we feel like we have to meet the needs of other people. But nobody knows how to do that, because only you know what your needs are and how to meet them. And we might feel like, I don't know how to meet my needs. And that's just because we've forgotten, or we haven't learned. So I definitely want to do a whole episode on learning how to meet our needs. That is very much a work in progress for me. I feel like I don't have enough knowledge on it yet, but I have been learning about it, and I do want to come back to it. But what I have been learning about recently, which I do want to talk about, is how important play and rest are in your healing journey. Because when we're learning so many new things, I think a lot of different emotions can come up, and some of the ones I've felt is sadness for the way things were, for the way things could have been. Also, overwhelmed because, oh my gosh, now I have so many things to work on. And also maybe a bit of guilt about how I've handled things in the past. A lot of emotions, basically. I could probably go on and on about all of the confronting emotions that come with healing. And that's not to put you off, that's to warn you and help guide you through this process, and help you through it. Because the reason why it's so important to add play in is when we're dealing with so many of those difficult emotions, we also want to make sure our life is still fun. Like, life was meant to be fun. Like, when did we let it get so serious? When did all of those annoying things that take up our whole day take priority over enjoying life? Like, think about it. Even like some people work 5 days a week just to wait for the weekends. That's 2 days out of 7. Like, we need to make every single day fun and every single day worth living for. And it's so much easier to get up in the morning when you're excited for things that are like that you've got on during the day. So I think it's really about cultivating this practice of fun. Like, when was the last time you had just genuine fun? And everyone has different definitions of fun, for sure. And I think these definitions change over time as well. And also, maybe there's things that you've been taught, oh, like this should be fun, or this is fun for me, so it's got to be fun for you. But it's also a process of learning, like, oh, actually, you know what, that's not fun for me. I'm not going to do that. And it's a process of finding out, okay, like, what does fun mean for me? What activities should I do? Who is fun to be around? And it really helps balance out all the tough things we're learning on our healing journey. And it makes it easier, I think, for sure. And I think rest as well is equally important, because when you're always on the go, and I feel like especially our society has taught us to be rushed all of the time, and does it really matter that you get to work 5 minutes later? Does it really matter that you're 5 minutes late to your dinner? I mean, obviously don't keep people waiting, but just slow down. Like, are you always just focused on the next thing? Like, are you truly present? Because even presence can bring so much more joy and love to any situation, but we're always thinking, oh, I've got to go to the shops after this, or oh, I've got to clean the house after this. And it keeps us back from being in the present moment. So I don't know, I was talking about rest, but I think that blended into play a little bit. Anyway, present's good, yes. But rest too is so important, because because we're rushing around. That's how I got on that tangent. I think another thing society did was gave us this impression that our self-worth lies in our productivity. But let me tell you right now, your self-worth is not your productivity. Your self-worth exists because you exist. There is nothing you have to do. There is nothing you have to be. You are loved as you are. You are valuable because you are alive, not because of what you do, not because of how much money you make, not because of what you do with your money, or how you look, or what you don't look like. Your value is because you exist. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anyone. You're perfect as you are. You can slow down. You have permission to slow down, to do nothing if you feel like it, to stay in bed if you feel like it. You are exactly where you're meant to be. You are exactly where you need to be. Everything is perfect because you are perfect. And I just think we buy into this idea that we have to be productive and we have to be ticking things off the to-do list, doing all the errands, cleaning all the house, like all the cooking, all the grocery shopping, all these errands. But we can slow down. Why are we in a rush all of the time? Aren't we just missing out on the beauty of life because we don't see it? That's a really big one for me, because I definitely feel better about myself when I'm achieving. But I think ever since COVID, I've been slowing down, which is super rare. Even my parents are like, wow, we've never seen you not do that much, as much as you've been doing. But it's enjoyable. And also, I sort of went through a phase where I wasn't watching any Netflix because I felt like, there's not enough hours in the day for me to learn all of the things I need to learn. So binning Netflix, and I think that's what contributed to my burnout a little bit last week, because I was just always consuming information, and that was probably just a lot. And it's really hard to apply things when you're learning so many things as well. So I do encourage you as well to slow down on your healing journey if you're like me and get a bit carried away. But yeah, now I've brought Netflix back into my life, and I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I do now intentionally use it when I do feel like, oh, I actually do need to switch off for a little bit. I do need to rest. I do need to relax. So it's about creating the space that you need for your life. And I also had this really good quote the other day about how, like, on creating, and it's like, you don't discover yourself, you create yourself. And I loved that. I was like, that is so cool. They were like, you can be anything you want to be, anything is possible. I'm learning a lot about meditation recently as well, and that's been amazing as well. And basically they say, like, with meditation, when you change your thoughts, you change your world. And I think that is so true, because one of my friends explained it. The reason why he meditates is because he was like, you can change your world. Like, don't you think that when you wake up, you've had a good sleep, you're in a good mood, you see the world in a better way. Things are less likely to annoy you. You'll see the good in people. You'll be kind to people. You'll love people more. You'll show more attention. Whereas if you've slept badly, everything sucks. The weather's bad. This annoying thing happened. I spilled my coffee. I was late for the train. Like, it goes on, right? But in meditation, you're training your mind on how you see the world and the sorts of thoughts you believe as well. So I've been taking some of these meditation classes. I'll put a link in the bio. They're called 3 Joule. They're based in New York, which is really cool. And they're free classes. I've been doing them on my lunch break. Super short, 30 minutes. I'll drop the link in the bio. Definitely check them out. So yeah, sorry, let's go back. This is a bit chaotic, sorry. So we're talking about rest, and I think it also comes down to creating a peaceful life, because, oh my gosh, historically, I think I've talked about this before, I was somebody who would book my entire day. Wake up. Like, I literally have notes on my notes app, and I go back and look at them, and it's like, wake up, 7:30. 8, leave house. 8:15, meet friend for coffee. Walk with friend. Brunch with somebody else, 11. After brunch, go shopping with so-and-so. Meet so-and-so for lunch. Go do, I don't know, probably, maybe I didn't, anyway. I was saying maybe I didn't do the brunch and then shopping and then lunch, but you know, you get what I mean. It was booked. And it was exhausting. Like, I'm definitely an extrovert, or introverted extrovert, extroverted introvert, I don't know. I love both, to be honest. I do get a lot of energy from people, but I also do love my time alone now. And I've stopped overbooking myself, and I just feel like that has done absolute wonders. Because then I show up for each friend with a better energy. I'm not repeating myself. And I think I'm able to pay that friend more attention because I'm not on the go like, oh, I've got to leave, or, you know. So try to think of ways where you can make your life more peaceful, and stop putting pressure on yourself to do so many things as well. Take time for yourself, and yeah, like I was saying, be kind to yourself. Have some self-compassion. Again, this is something I'm definitely learning about and still a work in progress for sure. So I definitely want to do a whole episode on self-compassion as well. But the things that I am seeing over and over again is that self-compassion is about being kind to yourself. So yeah, just treat yourself nicely. It's also realizing you're not alone in your struggles. So they call this common humanity. So it means that pretty much whatever you're going through is probably the collective experience. If you're worrying that your friends don't like you, like other people are also having those struggles. And whilst you might be physically alone sometimes, like you're not alone in the experience. So it's, I think when you realize that it's not just you, that's really helpful. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And also mindfulness. So that was that presence that I was talking about. And like mindfulness can get chucked around a lot and not many people know really what it means. And I'm still definitely learning about it. But I heard this definition about it's about noticing what's going on, and it's not minimizing or exaggerating it. It's seeing it for what things are and dealing with it as you need to. Whereas if you minimize it or exaggerate it, your response will probably be disproportionate. So I thought that was really cool. And I loved hearing that so anyone can build self-compassion. So some lucky people just have it, but a lot of us do have to work for it. And when you get to that level of actually having self-compassion for yourself, you start to realize that you can feel all of your emotions because you know you have your own back. You know that you can hold and create space for all of your feelings. And at the end of the day, you know you will be okay. You know, you feel supported by yourself in your experience. And you're not waiting for anyone to validate you. You're not waiting for anyone to have time for you. You can do this for yourself. And it's like, it's the same feeling as if you were opening up to a really good friend. So try to also keep an eye out on how you can add self-compassion in your life. One of the things that I've been learning, I think it's originated in Buddhism as well, is when you're really hurting, say to yourself, I care about this suffering. And that, when I heard that, I was like, I really don't think that would work for me. And then when I was having like an absolute breakdown and I'm just like, what self-talk is going on in my head? And as soon as I heard this phrase, I care about this suffering, and I said it a couple of times to myself, I felt so comforted, and I felt like I was accepting my experience instead of shoving it down like I normally do. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't love and accept yourself by shutting down and shutting your emotions down or dissociating or pretending it's not there, you're not there. And again, that's just probably just part of our conditioning, that society labeled certain emotions as good and certain emotions as bad, and people don't always hold space for us to express those quote unquote bad emotions. And it's about learning that all emotions have wisdom to them. So now I've really been trying to sit with like, wow, this is a strong emotion. Like, what is it trying to tell me? Like, an emotion is energy in motion, right? Like, that's so cool. It's a little message. It's an internal message being like, oh, something is not quite right here. Well, some of the emotions, as we're talking about some of those more difficult ones. And it's about tuning into those instead of shutting them down and realizing, what can I learn from this? Like, how can I be more of me? And how can I honor myself instead of the default self-abandonment? I'm going to do more episodes on that as I learn more, but this is where I'm currently at, and I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. I love you guys so much. Feeling so good again. Thank you for holding this space for me and dealing with my ramblings. I sort of just do this on the fly, but have to re-record if I say something super weird or I don't really convey something in the right way. So I am putting a lot of thought and effort into this podcast, so I really hope you're enjoying it. If you want to, you can leave me some 5-star reviews or any star reviews. I can't figure out how to get reviews where you can type them yet. I don't think I can do it on the platform I'm using, but you know, it would really help me out if you want to smash a couple of stars out for me. And as always, please reach out if anything was useful, or if you have any thing you want to say about anything that I talked about. I love talking about it with you guys. So please reach out. Love you guys so much. Have a great day if it's daytime. Have a great night if it's nighttime. I'm wishing you wellness. I'm wishing you love, hope. I'm sending you abundance of energy, wealth, health, well-being, love, light. All of it. You deserve everything and more. So I love you guys so much. Bye.